episode of Musical Chairs with me, Cheer Up Charlie. And today we have the amazing, the wonderful. He is part of the amazing Deaf Men Dancing. He's been in and been the dance captain for the awesome Wicked. And he's an advocate for being able to do what you want, even if you have a disability or something wrong with you. And he also shows that there's not something wrong with you, it's just you being more special. Please welcome the amazing Joseph Fletcher, everybody! Woo, 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 woo.
Hey.
Hi Joseph, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm very good, thank you.
Good.
So, just before we start the interview, I want to explain to everyone here just how special this man is to me. Those who aren't aware, 2 years ago now, I had an accident that resulted in me losing my hearing in one ear and all capabilities of hearing anything behind me. And I never speak about it, as believe it or not, I was ashamed of being deaf. But this man here has shown me that deafness makes me unique, and I'm now proud of still doing what I want to do, just with the extra hurdles in the way. And if I can be half the performer he is, then I will know success will happen. So thank you, Joseph, for being my friend and guiding me through more than you will ever know.
Oh, that's very sweet. Thank you so much. And you're my friend too, so that's all. Thank you.
Thank you. So if you're ready, I'll get straight into the questions.
Go for it. I'm nervous.
Don't be. Until we get to the funny questions, then be.
Okay.
People have always said to me that you're born with music running through your veins, in particular singing. Did you always love to dance?
Yeah, I did. So I fell into dancing by mistake, purely because my best friend at the time was going to dance class, and I was like, well, if you've been a best friend, we're going to do that together. And then I just kind of fell in love with it, and I fell in love with the freedom it gave me, and just joy that those gave. And the next thing you knew, I was a professional dancer. So yeah.
So my mum and dad are both really academic and into sports, so have no idea about performing arts. Is that the same with your family?
Yeah, so my family are incredibly sporty. My brother is a professional tennis player.
Wow.
So I think for my family it's the other way around, because I have no idea about sports. Like, you how to play a game of tennis, I wouldn't understand the rules or anything. So like for me, it sounds like I don't understand sport where they understand theatre. Does that make sense?
Oh, okay. That's interesting. That's really interesting.
I'm awful at playing sport. Like every game, I'm absolutely terrible at. I can't do anything. Like it's awful.
So how hard was it growing up loving the arts as a completely deaf performer?
It was difficult because I think I encountered a lot of obstacles in being told that this is probably not a realistic career choice for me. So I think I had that kind of like lingering above my head, being like, well, this is what I enjoy doing. Why can't I keep doing this?
Mm-hmm.
But, I think my parents were very good at just pushing and just trying. Like, until you try, you never know. Quoted Wicked there. It always comes to my head. I don't know why, but it's true though, isn't it? Like, until you try something, you're not going to know if you can or can't do it.
Yeah.
And for me, that kind of really got drilled by my parents and being like, well, try it. It happens. And if it doesn't work, we can just look at other routes. And obviously, if it never not works, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And just it's more difficult because I think you do put that pressure on yourself to try and be something, and being told you can't, and it's like, okay, well, I can. No?
Yeah, definitely. So you trained at the Amazing Performers College in Essex, which is one of the top dance colleges. How amazing was it to graduate with the Boys Award?
Oh my, how did you find that out? How did you do that? Yeah, I think it was a shock, because I think throughout my time at college, I felt like I was a bit of an underdog, or I didn't really feel like a person in the foreground. I felt like very much on the background. So obviously when I got that award, it came out of nowhere, But I do remember being in my third year. I do remember there being like a light bulb switch in my head and being, I graduate in a year time. I need to start working hard. I think that Boyd Award was, you know, kind of like the achievement of working really hard and recognized for that, you know? Yeah, it was, yeah. How did you find that out? I'm really curious now.
Research. And sometimes, just sometimes, you need a little bit of mummy's help.
Okay, well done, Mum. Well done, Mum.
Yeah, so me and Mummy researched. So the more, funny enough, the more I research, the more I learn, and the more I learn and see that the performing arts is such an expensive route to take. I already see how many sacrifices my parents make. How do we make it more accessible to all?
How do I make it more accessible to all? Oh gosh, I mean, that's a really good question. I think it should be accessible to all because at the end of the day, it's an art form, and you know, I think music, dance, drama, even going to like art galleries or anything that is a creative process should be universally accessible, you know. And I think somewhere along the way, the industry had kind of like lost its way a little bit in terms of like making it accessible to everyone. And I think, how would I make it more accessible? Well, first of all, I would give everyone like a scholarship if I could. Like if I had all the money in the world, I'd be like, here, take it. But I guess also it's about doing your own research in finding out where those workshops are and where those classes are, and you know, finding the people that inspire you and trying to connect with them to see how they can help you as well. There's loads of like grants out there at the moment. There's loads of like sponsorship. So it's just about finding. You have to do some research. I think a lot of research. I think that answers the question. I wish
Definitely.
I had an answer. Like,
no, that was a really, really good answer. Thank you. So, what was your first big break?
My first big break. Well, what do you define as a big break?
Your first job in the performing arts.
Okay, so my first ever job in the performing arts was a backing dancer on Top of the Pops, way back in 2005. Yeah, so I got in 2005 for Top of the Pops. Do you know what Top of the Pops is?
No.
Okay, so way back when, Top of the Pops used to be, I think it's every Friday night, where they pop singers and bands would sing their newest single on TV. And for an artist called Charlotte Church, which again, I don't think you might know who she is. But yeah, I was back in dancing with Charlotte. That was my first big professional job. I was very lucky that during my time at college, I obviously was able to have other jobs as well that I kind of went into. But defining big break, I don't think this industry had a big break moment, if that makes sense. I think what you define as success is success. Some people, that is working in a music video. So for some people, that's working on a cruise ship. For some people, that's working in TV and film. For some people, it's being you know, I think you can't, there's no top of your game. The top of your game is what you want it to be. So I guess big break, that was my first big break. But I guess for me, my first big break for myself and what I wanted as the top goal would have been Wicked.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like I really confused that. Like, went a long way.
No. Oh, you should see some of the confusing answers I've had in the past. Don't worry, I'm used to it by now. So, you performed at the closing ceremony of the Paralympics. How much of an honour was this, and how did it come about?
How did it come about? So that was kind of an accident. I was working with Mark Smith with Deaf Men Dancing. We were working on a completely separate project, also involving with the lead up to the Olympic and Paralympic Games. And I think via that, I remember getting an audition via Mark for this other job not really knowing what that other job was. And the next thing you knew, that I was in an audition, being harnessed up and thrown into the air. And, you know, I loved it. It was a great audition. Like, I would live in my best life, flying like Peter Pan through the like warehouse, you know, having a great time.
Sounds like it.
And and then she kind of got the job. And then obviously the next thing you know, it's like, I have to speak to Mark, being like, so I've been offered this, which means I can't do the deaf men dancing job. And then Mark said, but that's okay, because I can't do the deaf men dancing job either, because he then got another role involved in the Olympics. So it kind of all just happened by accident that, you know, kind of couldn't do one job, but we ended up doing an even bigger and even better job. Was amazing. I'm so glad I took that. Yeah.
That sounds cool. So you've had an amazing career, but how incredible is the troupe Deaf Men Dancing, created by Mark Smith?
It is amazing. I think for me, obviously for the longest time, I thought I was the only deaf dancer. I never really came across anyone else like me. And then so when Mark Smith got in touch with me, being like, I want to form this troupe called Deaf Men Dancing, my first question was, wait, there's more of us? You know, and he said, yeah, there's more of you. There's a few of you, actually. And I was like, what? I'm not an original? You know, what amazing. I think for me, it just highlighted that I wasn't alone in this. Do you know what I mean? And together was just amazing. It's so inspiring. But we all have very different levels of hearing loss. So how we work and hear music and understand music and understand dance was very different to how my colleague might have heard the music or understood, you know. So we have to really collaborate and work together to the best of our ability. Become a troupe, if that makes sense. And the results were amazing, because it meant that you had this company that were, you know, so diverse, but also so different, purely based on and couldn't hear. Do you know? Yeah, it was cool, and it still is amazing. Like, I forget how inspiring it is, because I think when you are yourself, you forget what you do. You know what I mean? Like, I forget that I'm deaf sometimes because it's my everyday, it's my norm. But I think for an outsider who might not know me, they say, wait, you're deaf and you dance. How do you do that? That's amazing. I'm like, oh yeah, I guess it is pretty cool. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, as you know, I'm very passionate about people doing what they love and not what people think they should do. And I want Cheer Up Charlie to be associated with acceptance. And it's about time that bullying is tackled once and for all. And I'm now very lucky to be in a position to use my voice and speak to people like you that give my generation the hope that things will change, and that the one voice I have can become a huge roar. But change needs to be learned. How can we help get over this massive negativity? And also, do you think social media is to blame for the heightened bullying we keep seeing?
So the first question now was, how should we get activity of something? I think the first thing we all have to do is to accept the flaws in us. You know what I mean? And I think the quicker we understand that this is who we are, we can't change it, the easier it will be for all of us to let go. Does that make sense? I think that's also the same being said in accepting. I think as long as the quicker you accept something within someone else, the easier it is to see past it. You know what I mean? I think it's so important. Like, obviously, I guess for me, because I obviously come from that background of being surrounded by people of all abilities and stuff, I very quickly see past it. So it's not a thing, and it shouldn't be a thing. It's never a thing.
No.
And I think the quicker we understand that it's not a thing, it's not an issue, the better. And I think, I think that will help, I think. And what was the second part of that question?
And do you think social media is to blame for the heightened bullying we seem to be seeing?
Oh yeah, social media is a big like, I think social media is definitely fooling us all into believing that perfection is attainable. And as we all know, perfection does not exist. You know, and it shouldn't exist. It should never exist. It's boring. Being perfect is absolutely boring. And, you know, I think social media definitely did not help with our own insecurities as well as other people. Plus, we're constantly comparing ourselves now to people on social media, and I'm like, well, we don't know what's happening behind that screen. Like, do you know what I mean? And I think we're very quick to assume the worst and being like, oh, why did that person look like this or got that or have achieved this? Why have I not? So therefore now you're putting out negative energy about yourself.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And that actually a friend of mine recently told me this really good experiment where she got her client to write down all the things they hated about themselves, and she then got someone else to say that out loud to someone else, and not to that person. So it was like an indirect, and that person stopped that person to be like, well, you can't say that to her. That's not nice. Not knowing that she'd written those down. Do you know what I mean? So it's very so she was like, oh wait, that's what I wrote down about myself. But hearing it out loud to someone else, it's not a nice thing. And I think we're all very quick to do that. We're very quick to like say, hang on, that's not nice to someone or whatnot. But we're still saying it to ourselves, and we need to let that go. That makes sense?
Yeah, definitely. And especially us people in the arts, we should know that perfection is not achievable. Definitely.
It's attainable. And for those that think it is, quit. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, because we all have our... We all have those voice crackles at the top of big notes. We all have those trip overs when we're trying to do a dance move. We all stop halfway through a double pirouette when we're trying to and do a single when we're trying to do a double.
Yeah, honestly, and it happened. Like, it happened in my professional job. Like, the amount of time that fell over my pirouettes in Wicked, front center stage in a spotlight, I would fall flat on my face. That's not what you want to happen, but it happened. It's life.
Yeah.
We're not perfect. And you know what? It's those moments where I'm like, that's a joke, that's hilarious. I fell over. Like, we live for those moments, because it's almost a reminder to be like, you're never going to be perfect.
Yeah. So if you're in the arts and you want to be perfect, don't be in the arts. Don't be in anything. Don't be in anything.
If you want to do it the art, but don't strive for perfection.
Yeah. Basically, yeah. So, growing up, was bullying something that affected you? As I know I became more of a target after my hearing loss, or even since you've worked professionally, have you experienced any bullying?
As a child, yeah. As a child, 100%. Yeah, obviously school was hard. And school was very hard because obviously not only was I trying to figure out how to overcome my hearing, I think growing up, you're always learning about how to adapt yourself, and you're always picking up new things that you might not necessarily have heard before, or trying to find new ways to progress yourself. So that's already hard enough as it is, and plus then society and children in the playground telling you that, calling you horrible names and saying all of this about you, that you'll never be this, you'll never be that, you'll never find love, blah 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 blah. As they do. But then obviously I think for me, there's obviously a lot of other stuff that kind of layered onto it. So yeah, I would bullied a lot at school, but I was very smart in that I became very popular with the popular girls, which obviously meant the popular boys had to be nice to me. Do you know what I mean? So I wiggled my way into it that way. And obviously as I grew up, it got better. Regarding professionally, I'd never been bullied professionally. I think bullying is the wrong word, but I definitely think there had been question marks about certain stuff due to my disability. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But there definitely been that element of being like, my disability had stopped me from doing stuff because of so-and-so experience or opinion of so-and-so. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. So if you could give yourself some advice as a child, knowing what you know now as an adult, what would it be? And most of all, would you actually listen to that advice?
If I could give advice to myself as a child, knowing what I know now.
Yeah.
It's so funny you asked that. We were talking about this the other night, me and my friend. My answer is still the same in that be yourself sooner.
Mhm.
I wish I had been myself a lot sooner. I wish I hadn't suppressed all of my emotion, all of my thoughts and feelings about my hearing impairment, about myself as a person, about my view on the world. I wish I had accepted myself sooner in my disability, in who I was as a person, and what I have to offer. And I think had I taken that advice, which I would have done, 100% would have done, I think I would have felt a lot happier a lot sooner.
Mhm.
It's a
Yeah.
very deep question. That's a very deep question. What about you? Can I ask you that as well?
Pardon?
Can I ask you the same question?
Ooh, okay, that's interesting. I'm not used to being asked the questions. Okay. I think I'd tell myself when I was being bullied that it does get better, and look what you can become now. Look what can happen out of the bullying.
Amazing. I love that.
Yeah.
Love that. Well done.
So now is for the funny questions. Woo woo! My favourite part.
Okay, this is where you really pay back, isn't it?
So I'm often told just to stop for 5 minutes, whether that be singing, talking, dancing, and also just asking questions that have no answer. Mum kind of sometimes gets annoyed with that because she's just like, I don't know. Like, I asked, like, why is this, and that, like really specific questions, and she's just like, I don't know. So, what do you most get in trouble for?
What did I most get in trouble for? At school?
No, now.
I most get in trouble for my sense of humour. I have a very dark sense of humour, and I think sometimes it definitely doesn't read the same way, and it gets me into trouble. I guess I also do play the deaf card quite a bit. So I will play the deaf card a little bit, maybe a little much.
What is something that nobody knows about you until today?
What is something that nobody knows about me until today? I feel like everyone knows everything about me. What? Oh God! What do other people normally say? Can I just take one of those? What is something that nobody knows about me until today? I I think some people know this, but I don't think it's genuinely a thing. But I'm a huge theme park geek.
Oh.
Some people do know about it, but not everyone. Like, I'm obsessed with theme parks. Like, I would spend hours riding roller coasters on YouTube or watch documentaries about how theme parks are made. Tell you all the facts and figures about how much a roller coaster costs to build on Disney or like Universal. I could tell you what manufacturer it is. I could tell you like the behind the scenes construction. I could literally do all that. I literally geek out about theme parks. But like I said, some people know that, but not everyone does.
Do you like going to theme parks?
You what, sorry?
Do you like going to theme parks?
I love going to theme park.
We'll have to go to a theme park after lockdown when everything's open again.
Okay, are you a hands up kind of guy or you're holding on kind of guy?
Oh no, I'm a hands up kind of guy. I love going on all the high roller coasters. But the last theme park I went to, I was 2 centimeters too short for basically every one of the decent roller coasters.
Okay. Well, hopefully you're taller now to get
so
on more.
Hopefully I'm tall enough now.
Okay. We'll go to a theme park. Okay.
Definitely. So, what is your most disgusting habit?
My most disgusting habit. Oh God. I I can't even show you that. I do pick my nose, but then I can't be bothered to go and get a tissue, so I do something to flick it.
Ooh.
Yeah, I don't want to do that. It's not a regular. Sometimes I just too lazy to go and get a tissue. Where I just be like, oh, flick. I'll hoover it up later.
Ooh. Okay, moving on. You have worked with some incredible people at many amazing events. What is the most embarrassing thing that you have ever seen someone do?
The most embarrassing thing that I'd ever seen someone do.
Yep.
Well, it's pretty much the things that I do. I think I'm the most embarrassing person.
All right, name some embarrassing things that you've done then.
Myself would be stuff like, actually, there was one time when we were doing a quick change and my partner, actually, it's not me at all, it's my partner. This is embarrassing. So my partner had a really quick change. Coming out of her ball, she'd like coming out of like a ball gown outfit, and she had a really quick change into a chicken suit. But she preset the chicken suit back to front. So when she put it on, instead of the beak being at the front, the beak went at the back. And also, obviously, therefore, the eyes were at the back, so she couldn't see where she was going. She still decided to come on stage with the beak backward, couldn't see anything, and she fell into the audience.
Pardon?
She fell into the audience. So that was embarrassing. That was really embarrassing. I was like, you're right there, love. Like, you can sort this out. Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
If you could play any role, regardless of gender or even animal, what would it be? Mine's Lily Bobtail from Peter Rabbit, as she has something for everything, and I'd love to do a duet with Neil Diamond.
Oh, nice. So the question is, if I could do any role, regardless of gender, what would it be?
Yep. You could even be a dog from something, or a cat from something.
If I could do any role, regardless of gender, do you know what? It's gonna sound really cliche, but I probably would say Alphabet. And
Yeah.
I know, obviously, like I know it's something quite close to home, but I think I would, because purely she can sing, I can't. She gets to fly, which is awesome, and I just think it's such a great role. And I think also it would probably be quite close to home because of obviously the story of Alphabet being different and you know having to overcome obstacles.
Yeah.
That would be the same. But then actually so obvious. I guess another role that I would love to do would be Seymour in Little Shop of Horrors.
Oh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Great role.
So now, pardon?
What was your choice?
Lily Bobtail from Peter Rabbit.
Amazing. That's a great one.
Because she has something for everything.
Yeah.
So now's for a round of quickfire questions.
Okay.
Who would you go and eavesdrop on if you were invisible?
If I was invisible, who? Oh gosh. I would. Everyone.
Fair enough. That.
Hey, well,
I mean, why do you need to choose one person?
Oh, God.
Why do you need to choose one person? Just everyone. That's so fair. That's best answer I think I've ever had on that question.
Right, there you go.
So next is favourite superhero.
Favourite superhero, Captain America or Spider-Man?
Oh.
Yeah.
Childhood book.
Childhood book?
Yeah.
Childhood book, probably Harry Potter or Kill a Mockingbird.
Oh.
Yeah.
Favourite city?
Hong Kong.
Cool.
Yeah.
Favourite song? Favourite
song would be To Love You More by Celine Dion.
Comedy or drama?
Comedy, 100%. Oh, no, both. Depending on my mood.
Harry Potter house?
Gryffindor, obviously. Yeah.
Text or talk?
Talk.
Favourite food and place to eat?
Favourite food and place to eat. Favourite food would be either Italian or Asian, and favourite place to eat would be McDonald's.
Cool.
Yeah, isn't it? Yeah. I'm trying to get all of my stuff in one there. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Hey, I've never had that answer before, so
There you go.
there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's another one of the best answers I think I've ever had on that question, Joseph. So I've got good news for you and I've got bad news for you. The good news is you survived the interview. Whoop, whoop.
Hey! Woo!
And the bad news is the interview's over. Aww.
Boo.
Boo-hoo. Well, I cannot wait to catch up with you once we can and go to a theme park with you. That's going to be so fun.
You know what's happening, don't you? I'm going to be like, if you hold on to any ride, I will be like, you said you were a hand up kind of person. And I'll be definitely
Thank you so much, Joseph. Have a good
you.
day. Bye.
And you. Bye, everyone. Bye. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you. What an amazing interview. If you guys want to see more interviews like that, because I know I want to do more interviews like that, make sure to like, subscribe, turn on the notifications button, go follow my Instagram, and go follow Joseph Fletcher too, because he is so awesome. So go give me a follow if you haven't already, and go give him a follow if you haven't already, guys. So remember, keep being kind to yourself and others, and keep letting your light shine. Bye!